welcome back to our channel. So in our channel recently we posted the JMETER tutorial series. Please go through them and get the required knowledge in JMETER. As continuation of it, we're going to discuss about a new topic in JMETER. So the topic is mainly focus on how do we parameterize the request, right? So before getting into the topic, let's understand what is the request we are going to test now. So again, we are focusing on COVID-19 API. So in the COVID-19 API, we have multiple REST APIs available here. We will take one API which we are going to test, that is this one, mainly api.covid19api.com, where mainly it will give the information of the particular country status which are confirmed. So you can get the country details from another request. Mainly you can see these countries. So if you click on these countries, open in a new tab, you get to know what are the different countries which are available. So you can just see here, this is the countries. If you just access this API in a separate tab, where you get all the countries details. So you get to know there is a country called Ecuador, Saudi Arabia, Taiwan, Ireland, Armenia, right? So many countries are available. But what are the different details of a specific country? If you would like to understand how many cases which are confirmed in a specific country, then there is one more request which will be helpful for us. That is, the request is day one. Click on day one here. You get to know this is the API which will be helpful for us. But what is important here is we need to update the country name to get to know the number of what is the status of the confirmed cases in the particular country. Copy this information, go here and put this information again to understand the status which are getting confirmed. Suppose if you would like to identify the cases which are getting confirmed in say Morocco, just copy this Morocco, any country name, just copy this, go here, just update it to Morocco, just click on it. So get to know the number of cases which are getting confirmed. So what is important here is that country name is different to fetch the data, right? For Morocco it is different, South Africa it is different. Can we maintain this data in an Excel? And we will parameterize this request by reading this data from the Excel and pass it to the request in JMeter. Okay, so let's get into this topic now. For this, what we do is we already created one thread group for the previous classes. What I will do is just right click on this thread group. Don't delete it, just mark it as disabled so that we will freshly create a new thread group now. Right click on the test plan, click on add, select threads, thread group. Okay, this thread group, if you are in the parameterization thread group, just name it as Parameterize thread group, TG, the thread group. Save it. Now, we are going to test a HTTP request. For that, right click on the thread group, select add, select sampler, select HTTP request. This is mainly confirmed cases country wise. Right. This is the HTTP request. We save it. Now, what is the actual request? The request is this. Okay, and always I said we have to break it down, this entire request. The protocol is HTTPS. The host name is this one. Then the path is the remaining part of it. This is the path. Right. So fill this information in the JMeter now. The protocol is HTTPS. Go here, just update HTTPS. The server name or IP or even host name, anything is fine. Just copy this, keep it here. Don't add any spaces here. Suppose if you're adding spaces, this will cause an issue. Just remove. There are no spaces required. And just copy this as a path. But what is important here? I don't want to hard code the value of Morocco in the request now. I would like to store this value in an Excel. Let's do one thing. Open Excel now and copy this value Morocco and take another few values. Now suppose for example I would like to take the information of, when I say access this API, I see Morocco. Similarly I can take San Marino. I can even take, we'll take any 2 or 3 countries, say Gambia, put the information here. So these are the 3 different countries we are taking. Our objective is to execute the same request with a different set of parameter values. Let me save it now. Save it. Then when I wanted to save this, it is important that we will save this to this location because this is the JMeter artifacts location. I would like to save that file into this location. Copy this here. Just put the URL here, enter, and always make sure we would like to save this value, and always make sure we'd like to save this value as, say, countries, but remove the extension. It is very, very important that we should remove the extension. We would like to save this file as a CSV. How would you like to save this file? This file we would like to save as a comma separated values, CSV. Very important CSV. We have to select it and click on save. Click on OK. Click on S and close this CSV file. And save it and close it. Just click on S till it closes the CSV. Click on S and we know the location of the countries.csv. This is the one which we are referring in our JMeter. Now, if you would like to read the CSV file and associate the country name in the request, for that we need to select the thread group again. Right click on the thread group, select add, select config element. We have to select the CSV data set config. CSV dataset config, select that, and here we need to provide the file name. The file name is, it's not that only you should provide the file name, we should provide the full location, the full absolute path of the file location, say countries.csv. Don't change anything, just that's it, save it. Countries.csv and the path. Make sure the path doesn't have any spaces. It's very important in JMeter, the path should not have any spaces. Now I go here, okay, and also in the CSV dataset config, the variable name I will associate this is a country. The value whatever we fetch it from the CSV, we will map it to a variable name here. The variable name here, which I am mapping it here, is country. I can give any name. I map it to country. Then I will take this country into consideration. I will just go to the request. In the place of Morocco, I will just put dollar curly braces and put V, the control V. It will copy this information here, dollar curly braces, and put the variable name which we had given in the case of CSV. Click on save and try to execute and see the response. For seeing the response, what we have to do is select the thread group, right click on add, and select the listener as view results tree, which we can see the results now. Click on execute to see the outcome. Now the outcome is, you can check here, request contains, what is the request it has taken? Request contains Morocco. But we had given totally how many values? Let's open the CSV. How many values we had given? We had given totally 3 values in CSV, but we are able to see only 1 value. The reason being the thread group, what we had given is only 1, so it executed 1 request. If you would like to execute 3 values, you have to mention 3 as a thread group. Save it, click on execute now. You will see totally 4, 1 for Morocco, 1 for San Marino, 1 for Gambia, and we got the response also. We can see the response code is 200 for everything. Also we can see the response data. Morocco response is there, and also we can see San Marino, you can see Gambia. Now, suppose if you would like to put an assertion to see whether the response contains the country details or not, you can add the assertion now here. I explained in the last video as well how do we add assertions, but again, let's see, right click on it, the thread group, add, select assertions, the response assertion, text response should contain add. Okay, we can do, the value is dollar curly braces, the country should contain this. to contain this, right? So the $country, the response contains the specific country details. So now let's execute this. It's working fine. Yes, right. And you can even check the logs. The logs will be shown here. Suppose, for example, if you want to see the logs, just click on this area. Wait, let me show you to see the logs. If you want to see the logs, you can see these logs in this section. Right? Click on this. It will open the logs. You can see what is happening. Okay. And one more important point. See here, it is accessing the file. This is the file it is accessing. Right? Suppose what happens is, if you don't give the path of the file and you are not checking the logs, let's execute this. Clear the all the responses. You clear. Nothing is it. Just click on execute again, because we are trying to execute now and we are giving the file path. We're not giving the file path. We're just giving the file name here and just execute. So what is happening is you don't get any response here. You keep on spending time. What is the reason for the program is not getting executed? What's the reason for the request is not getting executed? So in that scenario, definitely you have to click on this. To click on this area where it will show the errors in the logs. Now let me click on it. Let me try to scroll up. It shows clearly that the file countries.csv, you can see here the file must exist unreadable. Why? Because the file path, we didn't give the absolute path of the file, so we're getting this error. So it's always important, you have to focus in the specific section, click on it and see what is the reason for failure. This is also java.lang. I think we are all familiar. Java.lang, it's a package in Java. We know that the package contains system class. We know that the package contains a lot of exception classes. So one of the exception is illegal argument exception. So JMeter is totally dependent on Java. The exceptions also mainly Java-based exceptions, which are runtime exceptions we're getting because we're accessing a file which is not available. So this is how you can parameterize a request and execute it. But very importantly, we have to focus on one area where, let me show you that. We have to focus on one area where we have to increase the thread group count to. Let me click on this to close this. We have to increase the thread group count to 3. This is one way, right? And also you can do one more thing also. Right now we are executing each and every, we are having a different thread. Thread 1 data, thread 2 another data, thread 3 another data. Right now what we can do is we can give the thread group as 1, we can give the loop count as 3. New, we have only one thread, it execute one value at a time. Means here also we get the response as 3, but the difference is you have only one thread. How do we know this concept? To understand this concept, right now what we can do is right click on the thread group, click on add, click on listeners. In the case of listeners, just create a view results table, then we know how many threads we are creating. Okay, so let's try to close this. Let's try to clear the results. Click on it. Now see what happens. But why it is not getting executed? Because we didn't give the full path. Let's give the full path now. Then we don't have any issues. It will execute the code successfully because we removed this, clear it out and just click on execute to see now. So how many threads are there? How many threads? Here you know the thread is only the sample 1, sample 2, sample 3. There is only one thread. There are no 3 threads here. But if you see the response, if you see the results here, it is this request is Morocco. This request is for San Marino. This request is for Gambia. But what is happening? One request is trying to execute 3 times because for different sets of data. That is for loop count. Suppose I want 3 threads, but I give 1. What is happening? Each and every thread will be triggered and take one data at a time. First row is for one thread, second row is for second thread, third row is for third thread. Let's try to clear and just execute and see the table here. Okay, and I think this is not giving a thread group here. Let's see the view results tree here. We are getting any thread group here. See here, TG1.11, TG12, TG13. We're getting the 3 threads. Okay, let me do one thing. Again, I'll try to repeat this topic. Let me try to put number of threads as 1, loop count as 3. Now, what is happening? We are saying that only take first thread, one thread only you take it and just loop it for different values. Just execute this and see the outcome now. Here, TG11 means thread group 11, thread group 11, thread group 11. So that's the difference between thread group versus loop count. Thread group, number of threads versus the loop count. If you are giving loop count as 3 and thread group as 1, one thread will be used for executing 3 different values. If you are giving 3 as threads, it will try to execute each and every thread, and loop count as 1. It will take the first thread, first row, second thread, second row, third thread, third row. So this is the advantage of parameterization and also the difference between loop count and also the number of threads. That's it. If you like my video, please subscribe and share. Thanks for watching my video.